And mahalo for supporting Kauai Community Radio. Stay tuned for Naleo Hawaiian Issues.
Aloha oe, pua ka ilima.
I feel your evening breeze tonight. Molokai, I'm longing for your laughter. I'll gaze upon your silent shores and reminisce that sweet embrace of ginger. As New York City walls closed in, I longed for the touch of an island. Molokai, Molokai, sweet home. Ooh. So to rest your weary eyes, I've missed your smiles and lullabies in the evening time. It's been so long since I've been home. I miss the morning sunrise of the countryside. I've gone so far to find my way. This time I think I'll stay with an island. Molokai, Molokai, sweet home. Tonight, Molokai, I'm longing for your laughter. I'll gaze upon your silent shores and reminisce that sweet embrace of ginger. As New York City walls closed in, I longed for the touch of an island. Molokai, Molokai, sweet home. Molokai, Molokai.
Kapua keni keni ana no ko lau koko ku I ana kala I ke kona Awe hiki no inu ke ala pika te I luna kaulana o puaina Melia mauloa Hawai'i honu Ike ia ai I haku mai ai O ahe kohu I haupu ae Nei
younger days was all in fun. Oh, the good times that we had. We were young and it was fine to feel your spirit as it climbs. There are no regrets, only good times. We were friends in younger days, although we went our separate ways. You were my friend, you never turned away. Who can say what life will do? Life is kind to just a few. There are no regrets, only good times. Ooh, in time we will grow, we will change, as free as the wind and the waves. Live your life the way you choose. Find the ones who laugh with you, like the sea will find its way to shore. As the sun sinks from the sky, live your life and you will find there are no regrets, only good times, only good times.
Hey, well, the thing stopped. I didn't want to stop it, but it did stop. Cuz, you over there? Hello, Cuz.
Yes.
Yeah, you're on the
How
air.
come it stopped?
I don't know. The YouTube thing just went blank, so... and that's-
Blinky, blinky.
But that's okay, because I was going to pot it down anyway. Usually we play Southern Rush AR, one of my favorite songs. But I was going to pot it down anyway, so hey.
Well, first of all, we got to start the program with the deepest apologies to all the Kanakamoli out there. I got so many scoldings from last week.
Good they wouldn't call you.
Huh? What?
Good they wouldn't call you.
Yeah, call me, email me, hello. I was like, text message me. Oh, shoot. Anyway, one person put it this way. How come you get so involved in the Democrat and Republican, cute play on words, yeah? They sent me the email. How come you get so involved with the Democrat and the Republican, political system, and celebrate one thing that's most important to us Kanakas, quote, end quote, I should say. And then he went, the la ho'e I'll wait. So I was like, end quote. I went, oh, shoot. I forgot. Because it was the very next day. I mean, we went on July 30th, and the La Ho'iho'i'a, July 31st. Okay? It was the official July 31st. And we don't go mention them at all. No. And I got so many calls because I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, you're the producer. I'm just running the board.
One person went, sorry, no cut it, sister. Whoa.
No, on this one, besides spinning it like the politicians do, both you and I would have to say, oh, yeah, we went mess up. And
big time.
Big time. And it's, the first thing I reflected, I saw it on the news after. is because no one else is covering. I'm not making excuses, but because it has been taken out that even we forgot about it. And Awe, on my part, Awe, because you said the same thing. We were so brainwashed into thinking, not about it that we forgot about it. And Awe, we have no excuse on that. That was bad on our part. See,
let me give those let me at least give it its due after the fact time. Okay, the Loho'e'a was the restoration of the Hawaiian kingdom, and it's always celebrated in Thomas Square because it was Admiral Thomas who was sent by the Queen to properly reverse the unjust and illegal invasion by by Right Honorable Lord Paulette, Captain George Paulette, Lord George Paulette, who was captain of the Royal Navy of Britain. Okay, and that took place from February 15th. That's when he captured it. 1843 until July 31st, 1843. Now, so the joyous event that ended the 6 months occupation of the Kingdom of Hawaii by Great Britain in 1843 is called La Ho'e'a, and is celebrated every July 31st. We mess up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we got no excuse on that one, so we'll take it on the head. Yeah,
I know. I was like,
which is what? No can say nothing else, but we messed up.
Yeah, and back then Hawaii celebrated a week-long party. So the La Ho'e'a was one of Hawaii's major. Okay, can we repeat that? La Ho'e'a was one of Hawaii's major holidays, and was observed until 1893 when it was banned by the provisional government.
And 2 years later, our language is banned.
Right, exactly.
Not by us.
I mean, it was celebrated all over in Maui and over here. Oh man, shock celebration. And we never even mention it.
No, but I saw the one that they did cover on the news, and I don't know if it was the right day or something, but it didn't look too many people were out there. But like again, it's because it's been subdued out of our consciousness, And Kalamai, we got to mark. We can't do that again. I was like. And it was funny because I just mentioned that the night before we were playing for some people, and this person wanted Uamaukea Okaina Kapono, and I told the whole story of it. And, we know that Uamaukea Okaina has been misinterpreted. It could be life of the land, but when you look at what happened, it can also mean sovereignty. And I take it, they changed it. The people who were occupying our nation changed it so that, we don't want sovereignty of the land is perpetuating righteousness. So they changed it to life of the land. But when you know the history of La Ho'e'a, it's when the British flag was being lowered and the Hawaiian flag was being raised. That's when King Kamehameha III uttered those words. And it was because his sovereignty was being restored.
Right. So here we are, and you know what? Even to the Kanaka said, hey, I'm sorry, Sister Noka.
Yeah, we have no excuse. There's nothing we can say. You can bash us, you can call us, and we can't argue with that one. We messed up. Yeah, it's simple as that.
I'm sorry, sister, don't cut it. Oh, I'm sorry, brother, don't cut it. That's what he said, sister. I'm sorry, brother, don't cut it.
Hey,
like,
how come they never call us then?
Huh?
How come they never call us?
One person said the line was so busy.
You know who said that too was one of our old friends, Steve Yoder, said that he couldn't get through too, because we touched a little bit on that. And again, I apologize for missing that. I was looking at who the Hawaiians are going to deal with in the next after the next election, and Kalamai on that one, because La Ho'e'a is. And like you said, it was celebrated until we were overthrown, and now we're occupied, and all our holidays that our people celebrated are being just smashed.
Yeah. And so, and I was like, What? I mean, even Hawaiian, down Hawaiian, they celebrated. I was like, oh, shoot. You know what I mean? All my cousins, because I told them I was going to mention it, and I was like, oh, shoot. And even some of my cousins went, Sister, what happened to you? Go mention them.
No, when I saw it too, I go, oh, wait. I was like, ah.
Instead, you started talking about the infestation.
About the donkeys and the elephants.
Yeah. Oh, with some said not so kind words as donkey and elephants, but, you know.
No, I mean, and
really?
Our friend from Atlanta, you know, he did call when I talked to him, his email, he did say that he was surprised I brought it up. And again, I was looking at just who we're going to have to deal with, because, you know, Clinton is probably going to push this DOI stuff. And then Trump, who knows what he's going to do.
He's going to push World War III.
Yeah, so I was looking at that perspective, and it called my for me for missing one of our most important. Wait, I still can't believe it.
I heard he turned around and basically slammed this a military guy. Okay, so he was part Muslim. He's Muslim, but he served and he saved some of the troops. I heard that he slammed them. So the military who was behind him was going, What you doing? Even some of his own Republican Party is going, what did you just do? You know, they didn't use the word donkey. But what did you just, I mean, they're like looking at him, and he's a rogue. He's like a wild boar, rabid boar, who's about ready to, you know, kill his own party. But hey, you know, I look at it and say, go ahead, Pa. Go ahead, keep on doing what you're doing. You're going to alienate everybody else in this whole wide world. But he slammed this highly decorated person who served and was given a distinguished medal, I forget which it was, by saving his own troops, you know, saving lives, saving American lives. And he went to fight as an American. So, even his own party was like, what the heck did you just do? And before that, the military is behind him, but now it's like, you slam him, oops. You slam somebody who fought for this country, and see, that's where it don't make sense. But anyway, I look at that and go, okay. But again, many apologies to the Kanaka Maoli out there, and to have my family over in Waianae, and those people who attended Thomas Square. Sorry, and as the brother said, sorry, don't cut it, sister. Okay? You messed up. He says, you Americanized. Okay. I stay sorry. I still say sorry, okay? But, so if you'd like to make comment, because you couldn't call in last week about us forgetting, please feel free to do so. Please, you know, keep your scolding down to 3 minutes, okay? Really, apology, big time apology. But so that's that. Ooh, that was a big one. I swear, you know, I'm so sorry. Shh. I mean, even my cousins was like scolding me. Oh shoot, because most of my cousins are all involved in the movement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So I really messed up on that one. Anyway.
No, me too. You're not alone. I did too, cuz so. We took
what?
It. No, me too.
So, deepest apologies. But one of the things I'd also like to do an update on in terms of the GMO issue. Okay. Apparently, what's happening is there's a question whether Hawaii should lose its pesticide enforcement power. Now, a nonprofit environmental law firm Earth Justice, is urging the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to revoke the Hawaii Department of Agriculture's authority to investigate and enforce federal pesticides law. Now, somebody better revoke them because they're not using them. That's for darn sure. It's sitting there and they're $1 short. However, Paul Achitoff, an attorney of Earth Justice, sent a letter to EPA officials this past Thursday, citing the Agricultural Department's limited staff and persistent backlog of cases since at least 2012. Oh, this is 4 years later. Oh, so they definitely are daily $1 short. And his quote was, "The public is at risk and the Department of Agriculture is asleep at the wheel," end quote. That's what he told. That's what basically Paul Achitoff says. Now, Achitoff's letter relied on information from the EPA's annual reports on Hawaii pesticide program. So it's like, these are the annual reports which you can get, okay? All this information came about how the Hawaii Department of Agriculture is a daily and definitely $1 short, or I should say 4 years late and $12 short. In the latest report, which covered October the 1st, 2014 to September the 30th.
Wait, because I know you're just going to get into it. Let's do the half-hour stuff so we don't get in trouble with the legal stuff, okay? Because I know you're going to dive into that. So hold on. So you're listening to Nale Hawaiian Issues right here at KKCR Hanalei, KQA Kilauea.
Well, as I was saying before, in the latest report, which covered October the 1st from 2014 to September the 30th, 2015, right? The EPA criticized the Hawaii State Agriculture Department for providing, quote, short, end quote, inspection reports that, quote, lacked critical information, end quote, and noted that the agency had a backlog of 700 inspection files, some of which dated back to 2008. Okay? Now, this is a major concern and has resulted in delays for both state and federal enforcement proceedings. And this is what the EPA wrote back. Now, the federal inspection report should be referred to EPA at least quarterly per the cooperative agreement. Now, this is an agreement that Hawaii State Agriculture has with the federal government. Now, recent receipts of reports for inspections that occurred as early as 2012 were not received until 2015. Many of these cases were referred to EPA enforcement action, but were closed based solely on the statute of limitations. So therefore, not only is Hawaii State Agriculture dropping the ball, but I'm kind of wondering if it's not on purpose that they're dropping the ball. I mean, come on, Hawaii State Agriculture, they're looking at pesticides, no problem. They use them. They're going to have to use other methods and manpower to, clear ditches and cut things other than the pesticides if they drop the pesticides. So I think that the Department of Agriculture, along with the Department of Transportation and all those, may be, slipping on and sliding on rules and regulations, are going they're looking in the air in regards to their own ability or inability to enforce the federal regulations in regards to their use. So I'm sort of kind of wondering in regards to that. But Scott Enright, director of the Agriculture Department, said that the agency has improved since then. Since when? 2012 or 2015. And that the number of backlog cases has dropped by 66% over the past year. Oh, really? So it went down from 750, which, again, many of those cases were closed due to the statute of limitations. So how many cases were closed due to the statute of limitations? Because you just can't even it's like file in trash. You know what I mean? Because, the report is like, too bad, it's Powerade. So how many? I mean, I can see the number of backlog cases dropping because of that. But how many was dropped because of that? 60%, leaving 6% over the past year for them to deal with? I'm just questioning because, Scott Enright, director, and this was not quoted, okay? This is not quoted. So you can't hold him to it in a court of law. Anyway, which they should be processed in a court of law and investigated by the Office of, what is that, OIP, Investigative Procedures. They should be investigated because I look at it this way, something ain't kosher in Denmark, okay? Anyway, updated EPA required the department to complete an action plan in May, this past May, for reducing its backlog further. The plan identified the need to buy new lab equipment, noting a 10-month backlog for analyzing samples. Okay? And so, again, the agency currently has 7 pesticide inspectors and hopes to hire 4 more by the end of this year, Enright said. Now, while the department only has 1 case developer reviewing inspection files, it recently designated 1 position to handle public records requests due to uptick. Due to a uptick? I don't know what that is. It's a responsibility that previously fell to the case developer and contributed to the backlog. So the state agency will request funding for 2 more case developers next year, according to the action plan. Now, because of the political nature of pesticides now, the department understands that they need to move forward and expedite this and do it quickly as they can and as thoroughly as they can. And that was quoted by Enright. He also picked up their game. Oh, this is a game, brah. I don't think so. We're not having fun. Anyway, he picked up his game because he knows it's the expectation, and they're going to do a better job. Yeah, seeing is believing, brother. Anyway, the EPA spokesman Dean Higuchi said that the federal agency was just made aware of Achitov's letter and is confirming its receipt. So at this point, they need to review their request, review what's in the letter, and what they're asking, he said. It's not much more that he can say. That's Dean Higuchi, the EPA spokesman. And if the EPA were to seek to revoke the Agriculture Department's authority over pesticide enforcement, the agency would have 90 days to correct the situation before the EPA would take over enforcement power. Oh, come on. Let the EPA take over enforcement power. Please, please. Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely. So, again, I love it. I mean, the letter, letter. Oh, yeah. The letter was sent August 4th, 2016. And basically it was regarding the complaint under Section 26 and 27 of the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act 7 U.S.C. 136W2 and 40 CFR Part 173. You know, legal jargon. Anyway, basically it was sent to the Director of Enforcement Division, Region 9, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and that was in California. So, and it basically stated how, and it's true, EPA action in this matter is essential to protect the agricultural workers and communities in Hawaii from suffering health and safety harms caused by pesticides use violation and HDOA's failure, the Hawaii Department of Agriculture's failure to take enforcement action. So, you know, the Hawaii Department of Agriculture is falling major short of its duties according to its contract with the federal government to protect and enforce federal laws in regards to pesticide complaints, which harms and may cause risk to the community and the environment. So they're dropping the ball. So So where does that leave the community? Where does that leave the environment and the community if they're dropping the ball? And where does that definitely leave, how shall I say, the C corporations that are basically the violators of the federal laws? That's why I sort of wonder if, because of the Department of Agriculture, if this ball isn't being dropped on purpose. I mean, I'm just curious, because it seems like, this day Moloa, and I'm not talking about your Avua, guys. This day Moloa, which is lazy, laid back, lazy, not taking it seriously. So if the Department of Agriculture start taking all this seriously, then, wow, don't you think we need to put somebody in there who's going to be taking it seriously? Or just remove this responsibility? Because all responsibility is the ability to respond, okay? They surely have shown that they don't have that ability to respond. 750 cases, 250, don't cut it, okay? So I think it's time for federal government to remove that and revoke it, give it back to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and let the Environmental and Protection Agency come in here and step on some toes. Yeah, well, that's what we need. The EPA to come over here and check out the C Corporation and the various different cases that are being filed, or complaints that are being filed because of possible violations, insecticide, pesticide violation. Which brings us back to the county council. You guys, you had the power to try and you had the power to serve the community. That's why you were elected for, to serve the community. You had the power to do that. You dropped the ball on that one, just like the Department of Agriculture. They dropped the ball. So with all these people dropping the ball, just remember that in an election, okay, where the ball turns around and hits them in the head and gives them a slight concussion. All right, so it's time for us to basically, do what we need to do, okay, because this ain't cutting it anymore. Where, oh, my best friend, I have faith in my best friend. Well, you were there to serve your best friend, county council. You were there to serve the community. You were elected in that position to serve the community. You're falling short of your responsibility, your fiduciary responsibility. You're falling short, folks. And who's going to suffer? Of course, the community. Again. So again, it's time something I should say takes a turn for the better. We gotta take a turn for the better here. Okay. Anyway, that's one issue I needed to bring up. The other one is the potential expansion of the Papahanaumoku Aikea. Papahanaumoku Aikea Marine National Monument. Testimony was given at a special Lihue community meeting where many of the Obama administration was there to listen to and gathering comments on the expansion from Kauai residents. And I know Keith Robinson voiced his concern, and he was against the expansion, which was surprising, because he didn't want environmentalists to have an excuse to cripple Navy operations. Well, that's one of the things. If you look back on any type of sanctuary, whale sanctuary, or any type of how shall I say, expansion of what I would call it's a cute ploy. The expansion of any sanctuary, basically what it does is stop fishing, stop this, stop that, levies fines on those who are caught And I do think it's going to have a drastic effect, the fact that they look to expand that sanctuary, Papahano Sanctuary. Now, the whale sanctuary failed miserably, and so they're out of the picture. Now, here comes the Papahano Mokuakea Marine National Monument Sanctuary. Sanctuary again. And what sanctuary do? They put rules and regulations, fines, et cetera, and limitations and sanctions on the ocean and fishing and all this. So, here we have another sanctuary. Is it good? I don't know. Anything looking... I look at it this way. The federal government and the United States government are looking to basically acquire domain over the ocean, okay? Domain over... and it's like, this is mine. Every country is looking to have control and domain over its natural resources. In the Philippines, the government is doing it, and and various different corporations are trying to mine and locate natural resources to the point where they're even massacring indigenous peoples and villages, okay, and the chiefs of the indigenous people's villages, just to get control. If the villages and the chiefs don't sign over to these various different, how shall I say, control to the corporations, then another part of it goes in there and massacres them. That's one way of not having to get a signature. Massacre the whole chief and their family. Yeah. And so this is happening. Nobody's saying anything because the United States is like, well, we're not going to tell our best friends, because even though we're not using those tactics, we're using legal tactics, and they're through the sanctuary issues. So here they are. They're going to bring the sanctuary in. They're going to expand it, and they're looking to find out, who's on board with the sanctuary. So Keith Robinson, who is Kunihiki, along with his brother Bruce of Niihau, basically says he doesn't want the expansion of this to come on board because it might affect the Navy's environment. The Navy, it might. Well, let me quote it. I'm against the expansion of the reserve because I don't want environmentalists to have an excuse to cripple Navy operations, end quote. Let's make this perfectly clear. When has any sanctuary ever crippled Navy operations? All they do is file for an exemption and get it right up front. So it's never been a problem, okay? Ever been a problem for the Navy. And they continue to do their operations, and then again, and then they can turn around and say, "Well, no, we weren't providing any type of operations out in the ocean to those bottleneck dolphins to beach themselves and die. We didn't do that." Oh, they did. I mean, come on. They just it's all top secret. We lied because it was top secret. We denied having any exercises out there that would cause ill effects on mammals or sea animals or whales or anything because, we could do that. And then they got caught with their Navy pants down and scolded because they lied, literally lied. So, I mean, that's not a good reason to stop the expansion. I would think the best reason to stop the expansion is the effects it's going to have on the local community in terms of fishing rights, So I look at it that, But this past Tuesday, public comment at the Hawai'i Community College Forum, basically, how shall I say, in regards to expansion was received by many in the community. Now, one thing I found interesting, he basically said that his family was informed by the U.S. military very secretly about the coming attack on Pearl Harbor 8 years before it happened. Wow. Do you mean they could have been prepared so that many lives wouldn't have been lost? They could have, your Pearl Harbor could have been prepared so that many lives hadn't gone down? So if the military knew about the attack on Pearl Harbor 8 years before, then was the military part responsible for all the lives lost in Pearl Harbor? Anyway, that's something to ponder on. And he basically sees that history seems to be repeating itself now, and Russia and China are becoming quite aggressive in the Western Pacific. Wow. Yeah. Well, I think they're going to become a little bit more aggressive if we become aggressive. That's how it acts. If a dog becomes a little bit more, if a dog barks and tries to mark his territory, and another dog comes in, and he's saying, well, no, I'm going to mark this territory, and they get a little aggressive, both dogs are going to get aggressive to the point where they're going to go at each other's throats. So, the Russian Chinese dog and then the American dog. So who's going to be caught in the middle? Hawaii. Well, it's going to be the shishi grounds for the dogs, yeah? Unless you see over here, mark my territory, unless you see over here. Yeah. So, but one of the, I just have this strange way of looking at things. But what happens is, any way I look at it, any type of activity, military or otherwise, any buildup or aggressiveness between other countries in other areas, especially as they're focusing on Chinese-Russia activity, and also the United States part in it. And what's going to happen here? Okay, well, Purdy basically said, and he's the representative of the Navy. Who is he? Let's see. Oh, yeah, the spokesperson for Hawai'i Pacific Missile Range Facility, Robert Purdy. He basically stated that, quote, the key to ensuring national security, I'm not concerned about national, I'm concerned about the safety and welfare of Hawaii, Hawai'i. But here, let me continue this quote. The key to ensuring national security, maintaining freedom of the seas, and avoiding tragic loss of life is to ensure that sailors receive realistic training that fully prepares them to be prepared to fight, and that the equipment they rely on is thoroughly tested prior to use. That's what he said. So that means, again, test. Where are they going to test? Out in the sea. Where are they going to test? On the islands. Testing here, bombing here, whatever they need to test. It's going to be done, whether there's an expansion or not. Okay? And that's because of national security. Let's face the facts here. The federal government they have a stake in here. We are the first line of defense. How does that make you feel? Okay? We're the first line of defense for the United States. Okay? That doesn't make me feel any good. That means that we're a bullseye for the United States. And it'll keep the shores of the United States pretty much well protected until we get blown up. I mean, that's the way I see it. Because now they want to ensure that the sailors receive realistic training, okay? So that means in the seas, especially if they're concerned about Russia and China, that means in the seas, on the land, etc. All right? So I want to know what their excuse was when they were training people here for realistic training to go over to the Middle East. That wasn't realistic. They should have done it in the United States over there, in the deserts over there, someplace. This wasn't realistic training. Makua Valley bombing wasn't realistic training. Ka'ula Rock isn't realistic training. Not when it comes to over there in the Middle East. So now they'll have a legitimate, at least like half a legitimate excuse to say it'll be realistic here. So as those of you who attended that meeting in Lihui, please do. I'd like for your comments. I'd like for you to share your comments for the next hour in terms of what you think of it. What do you think about the expansion in terms of Papahānau Mokuakea Marine National Monument? What do you think about the expansion? I'd like to hear from you. Give us a call at 826-777-1, 826-7771. Toll free if you're off island, 866-275-1112. Okay? So it's the top of the hour, right, bro?
That's we are, and we'll do the legal stuff. Get right back at you.
Okay.
You listen to KKCR Honolulu, KQA Kilauea, and Nalea Hawaiian Issues is made possible by listeners like you in partnership with Komo Ukulele and Kauai Community College.
The views and opinions expressed during this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of KKCR, its management, staff, board, members, volunteers, or underwriters.
And because I wanted to bring up, I wanted to bring up a Hawaiian issue because I just got my I appeal every year because the County of Kauai and its wisdom in assessing my property in Waipakai keeps on increasing my taxes. The last big increase was like the one that everybody got mad at, and possibly was one of the reasons why Jay Fafaro and them didn't get back in, was because that the adjustment and everyone's increased big time. So everyone got upset. But what I was curious was when I, when they give you the assessment, they don't tell you how much that assessment is going to come out. So when I saw my assessment go up and I saw my exemptions go up, I thought, okay, it'd even out. Come to find out when you get the bill, basically what they did a couple years ago, which outraged everybody on the island, they did to me again this year. Now, I called the paper and asked, have they heard anything? I haven't heard anything back, but I don't hear the outrage on the property taxes like I did a couple of years back. But essentially, what they did to me in Waipakai is what they did 2 years ago. They basically increased my taxes 80%. 80%, which is close to what they tried to do 2 years ago, which everyone said was wrong, but was curious that now I'm just wondering, are they doing a rollout program so that you don't get all these complaints at one time? So they're going to go, and I asked the newspaper this, because if you don't get a lot of complaints, that means that everyone was satisfied with their property tax or they didn't know about it. But when I got mine, it's an 80 to 100% increase from last year. Okay? So if nobody else got that same increase, except maybe in my area or me, then I'm just wondering, is the county rolling out tax increases in specific areas so they don't have the massive response that they got 2 years ago? Because obviously, if it was wrong 2 years ago, why did my taxes increase like it was a problem 2 years ago? And then secondly, when I went before the Board of Appeal here, it's kind of funny because, I basically lost every time I appealed. They're giving me a discount for the damage to the land, like 5%, they said. But what was curious in that thing, they acknowledged that I have a humble house and the houses around me are luxury houses. Now, that creates a problem because if they're luxury houses, these are farmhouses. Or farm dwellings. They all had to sign agreements on farm dwellings in Waipakai. So if they're building luxury farmhouses, where is that in the law that allowed luxury farmhouses, which then dictates my increase on my humble house in Waipakai? So I lost that appeal. I just got the letter back. Now, what's really interesting, tax appeal property taxes on Kauai. You would think you would settle it on Kauai. No. The tax appeal, if you want to go to court, you go to Honolulu. I have to file in Honolulu. I have to fly to Honolulu, and I have to buck my increase in taxes because the appeal board here said, no, everything's okay. And my one problem I had with them was like, how can you increase my taxes when I haven't been able to use the land because of damage for over 20 years? How can that increase? That's like saying my car is increased in value, but I have no engine in the car. How can it increase? Now, I just got the letter back saying, hey, it's all good. They did it properly and all that stuff. So to appeal my property tax here on Kauai, I have to go Honolulu. That makes a lot of sense. I have to fly to Honolulu to file it, to fight it in Honolulu for Kauai property tax. The only reason I can think about that, it just makes it harder for normal people to fight the tax increase. And especially if they're now targeting, I mean, it seems like if I'm the only one that got an 80% increase in my taxes, I don't hear the outrage that was up 2 years ago when everybody saw their taxes went sky. I don't hear nothing. So what's going on here? It's just I'm being targeted in Waipakai or in a certain area is being targeted, so they don't have the massive rush they had a couple of years back, and then there's less complaints coming in, so they can say it's it's not a big thing. So basically, the tax increase that they told me was outrageous, and I got them to bring it back down a year or two ago. They just pushed it right back up. And their explanation is because my humble houses, the houses around me are luxury houses. So I got to pay because I have luxury farmhouses in Waipakai. Now, they did write in there that I brought up some issues regarding, but they said, they always have a way out. Well, they brought up some issues that, it's not in our, privy, so therefore we can't make a determination, so therefore we cannot delve into those other issues. But they were told at the meeting, luxury farmhouses in Waipakai, which already there is a contradiction. And they're using those sales of those luxury farmhouses to increase my property tax. Lovely. This system just sucks. But no one cares. Well, not unless, like 2 years ago, you guys get all your increase. But since I'm not hearing any outrage, I guess everyone didn't see an increase on their property tax except for me and Waipakai. Makes me feel like I'm being targeted. So I called the newspaper up, but they haven't called me back. So I guess everyone else is fine. No one else has seen an increase of 80% in their property tax, huh? Just me and Waipakai? Wow, that seems kind of strange. So that's been my thing for the last couple weeks. So now I have to write the letter, and I have to go to Honolulu to fight my property increases here on Kauai. Wow. Just like we know, because if you want to research land titles on Kauai, you have to go
Honolulu.
Honolulu. Why? Because all the paperwork is in Honolulu, which makes absolutely no sense. Unless you want to control access, unless you want to control the knowledge, you want to control the paperwork. Even my mom, who seemed a very Akamai person, even she said that's stupid. Land maps of Kauai should be on Kauai. Kind of makes sense, yeah. Molokai papers, why are they on Oahu? Should be on Molokai. No, makes sense. So to me and my mom and others, it's just a concentration of the assets, making harder for especially Hawaiians to get a hold of these things, and you have to pay through your okole for all this stuff, which is another problem that we have. So it's like, I just had it with this system because, I'm going to vote, but I think that, and then I look at the others, like I told you about, there's some other people who were talking about sovereignty and everything. Well-educated Hawaiians. But they're stuck in that From what I can see, well-to-do Hawaiians who have their assets are too scared to speak the truth because they're too scared they're going to lose their assets. Where people like you and me, we have assets and some we don't have assets, but we're going to speak the truth whether we have assets or not. But I have dealt, and I know these Hawaiians were like, oh, but I can't come on, hey,
Well,
that's cool, but then we get back to the same.
Head down, no make trouble, no make bring focus to yourself, or you're going to get targeted like you.
Right, and so that's all and well, but then it's the I, me, mine. I mean, when I fought for sovereignty, in the late 80s and early 90s, I had no idea that we were having a problem in Waipaque. Waipaque did not push me into the sovereignty movement. It was knowing what was right in our history and then going to Ko'olawi. That pushed me. I had no clue of what was going up in Waipaque. Nothing. That didn't push me into it. But when I came here and I was fighting for all the rights, Waipaque made me realize that this system, this society, as a whole, don't give a crap's butt about Hawaiians. Because that's why nobody cares that Hawaiians got wiped out in Moloa'a. Well, they're only no one cares that there's no Hawaiians there because we've been taxed off our minds. Raised up the taxes. Oh, we can't afford our own Hawaiian lands in Hawaii. And then you have people coming down to buy it from Colorado. How they guys, dropping $40,000. And that's why sometimes, because I don't know, I just go out and stare at the coconut tree. And even last night, you look at the Hawaiians I was on the news, and even some of who were watching the news, now they put us on the news. They let us all talk now. There are several Hawaiians that were out there supporting the TMT. And the first thing that came to our mind, and I didn't say it first, it wasn't me, it was a friend who was with us going, now they let the Hawaiians, now they're giving them all the time they like. Just kind of over it. And it just seems like we all have our own stories, and unless it really affects you, no one gives a rat's butt. They really don't. And so that's why in Waipaque, everybody's, but I'm fighting. I've been fighting for how long by myself? And like you said, because you brought some people in to help the taro patch and everything, but, and even they agreed. You cannot fix the taro patch when you still have the drainage of the Waipaque subdivision coming through. We knew that. That's why I stopped cleaning it up after 5 years. Like, clean it up every time it rains. Yet these people out here and all these people with degrees like Isaki's drainage or Isaki's survey, there's no damage. And where is the damage coming from? The sky, Lolo. Really. Lolo. You may have a degree, but you Lolo. Told that before the planning committee. Where is the dirt coming from? Anahola, down the road. Comes through the drainways, you idiots. Deaf ears. Told them that in the tax for the property tax. Can't get none of you guys. You guys can increase my taxes, but I can't get none of you to enforce any of the violations in Waipaque. Nobody. DLNR, Water Commission, State Department, with the DLNR and the different agencies. Everyone tells me that taro land's supposed to be the most protected. Yeah, right. Maybe in your paperwork, but I can't get anyone out there to help me. So I'm sitting on this historic site that's supposed to be well protected that I haven't been used for 20 years, and that state or the county just jumped my bill for that property 80%, and it's ruined. That's like, because it's like talking. That's all I gotta say. I want to go eat something and forget all this crap and deal with it on Monday, but sometimes it's just blah, 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 and more blah. So, we'll take a phone call because you guys take it. I don't know. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, man. How's it going?
I guess you haven't heard that the lawful Hawaiian government on Maui has won their law case where they was occupying A and B land and got dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Because it finds out that A&B doesn't have title to the land.
Hey.
Okay, and I'll tell you why they won. They represented the Hawaiian government. And the government isn't going anywhere until they get their land. And the courts understand that. And I think that they're beginning to see that the only way out is that having no jurisdiction.
No, I agree with you, and that's why the DOI is here. I agree.
So, there's a meeting in Anahola Clubhouse Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to discuss what we're going to do here. Okay? So if you have any ideas, Randy, come Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Anahola Clubhouse.
No, cool. And if you can have...
Aloha.
Yeah, and if you have anything on the case, I'd like to see that too, but mahalo. Because I'm looking at, when we talk sovereignty, I'm looking at an entity that can stop the United States.
Well, you know what?
No, peacefully. I'm talking peacefully. Like, for example, like
I know, but if you could go online, if that case was won, then you can go online. It could be found. Yeah. So, Anahola, 6 p.m. Tuesday night.
Yep,
at the Anahola Clubhouse. And they could share in terms of how to do this, what they did over there in Maui, over here. So people, especially those of you who are fighting the court system, and if the ruling was no jurisdiction, that's absolutely fantastic. But we definitely like to have where we can find that case online, so we can have it. Anybody like to call up, talk story about the extension on Papa Hanaumoku Aukea, Papa Hanaumoku Aukea, or in terms of that, or if you'd like to share in regards to, your taxes, are they being raised again? You can call in 826-7771, 826-7771. So you can call up with whatever you'd like to share with. So right now, Kill basically shared with us that the lawful Hawaiian government will be at Anahola Clubhouse, 6 p.m. on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday.
Yeah, and I'd like to see the court case, too, that look it up on, if it's true what he said, that they won, what they were on A&B land, and it showed that that they didn't have jurisdiction.
You found something? You found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. And that raises an interesting question, because when you go in their courts, if they sue you in the civil court, you have to acknowledge that they have jurisdiction. So that's why I want to look at their paperwork. Did they go? But see, even if, and that's why I want to see the case, because even if you're a sovereignty, you're going to go into another sovereignty's court and say, you can't even try this case because you don't have any authorization anyway. So I would like to see the wording on how that came out and the final thing on the court and what was actually said and what was actually done. But interesting, everyone is waiting for some kind of puka through, something that can stop the federals in their tracks, saying, hey, you can't touch Hawaiian stuff no more. State, county, or feds. You can't touch our lands anymore. You can't touch our resources anymore. That's why this expansion, my bottom line is they shouldn't have any authority at all to do anything. This is not their country. Bottom line. And it's just getting frustrating to see that we're still getting hammered. And if this case is true on Maui, it could be possibly something that we can, really has something that's feasible against the Fed and the state and county who continually just overtax our people. And my case in Waipake, some of the parts, like the Kuleana tax, is a godsend to some of the Hawaiians, but because they're just picking us off as individual, you know what I mean? Because we're not a block out there. They can pick me off in Waipake because I'm the only guy standing in Waipake. I don't have Even if we had an organization, we'd still have to go through their court system. It's just, I don't know. And then I have the possibility of losing the land too, so that's stressing me out. And why? It's all because of the government crap. Really. And when I went to the Board of Appeal here, you know how many Hawaiians were in there? Just me and Prim. Everyone there is non-Hawaiians saying their tax increase on my land that was from 1848 and beyond, that these people have some right to tell me that I have to increase. It's not fair, it's not right, but hey, we're occupied, so I have to do what they say, right? What else am I going to do? I don't pay the tax, they're going to take my land. What else am I going to do? Anybody else got an idea? You got to pay the tax, so they take your land. Even though you got damaged land. I know can use taro, I know can use mawara, I know can use my ancient sites. And this is on record. This is an ancient house site with rock wall pond system. That's what I've gotten for 25 years by all the agencies in the county, state. We even called EPA. Oh, they came quick for Marvin's down in Pilar. Oh, boy, EPA was down here in a jiffy. Mr. Rego Hawaiian, that's what you get from the EPA. Oh, but the Marvin, oh, boy, everybody right down there. Pilar, oh, hey, yeah, the Hawaiian Waipake, that's what you get. So, you know, as far as the 25 years in my experience, I'm being used to being feasted on by these government stuff, by the courts. Just used to it already. I'm sick of it, but hey, we don't have our sovereignty. So it's like the Hunger Games. They come around and pick you, say you're going to the games, you're paying the extra taxes. Gotta go. Or shoot myself in the head myself. Gotta go, right? So, well, fantastic. Then nobody else had an increase of 80 to 100% on your taxes. Wonderful for everybody else. Caller, you're on the air with Nale Hawaiian Issues.
Hey, Randy.
Yo.
You're never going to be successful. You're doing it just for yourself. You'll never be successful.
Well, my land is...
I tell you, you got to support a government.
I know, but my land right now isn't under government, dude. It's under my family's name. So when they've served me with papers, I have to respond, or I default, and they take my land because I defaulted. That's the game I'm in. I don't want to acknowledge this court. I think they don't have our jurisdiction over us, but they filed in court, and if I don't file in a certain time, I default, and they take my land anyway. So I gotta fight them. And it's under my family. It's not under reinstated. It's not under the Lahui Hawaii. It's under a family name. You know, it's not a government. I wish I could.
You know, the government supports Royal Patent and Land Commission Awards. We support that.
I know, and that's why I want to look at that court case and what you said. I really do, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Okay.
No, because I believe the brothers out there, you know, and we said this before, we may disagree with Dane and the reinstated government on some of their, you know, either the leaders they choose, and it's the right of every Hawaiian to choose the leader. It's even the right of Hawaiians to sit on the side and say, America, take us over. Thank God there's less of those and more of us who believe in our sovereignty. But, you know.
Yeah, but there are some leaders that choose themselves.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the choice of the people. It's, you know.
No, because if there was a viable way, I would. If there was a way to transfer my land in Waipake into a sovereignty government that's recognized, and that the feds and everybody say, "Oh, we can't touch that," I would go for that right now. But right now, I don't. Well, at least I don't see the evidence where I can switch my land out of jurisdiction, out of the county, give it to a Hawaiian sovereignty group that will protect me and my rights, and tell the feds and these occupiers of our nation that they cannot touch this land. You have no authority to tax me. But we don't. So when the tax man knocks on the door, I either pay them or they take my land. How do I know? Because they already did it in Moloa. They did it in Haena. That's how most of my family lost all our land, was these freaking taxes. They got outrageous. Then when we apply for, you cannot apply for kuleana tax because Waipake is ali'i konehiki. Well, I got it at the same time. No, but that's konehiki ali'i land. That's not the same as kuleana, so you don't apply for the 25%. So you pay regular market taxes out on Waipake. Wow, wonderful. It's always some kind of loophole that screws me in Waipake. Always something. So yeah, my life experience is a little bit different from everybody else, and seeing all the just being overwhelmed again. It's just and it kind of got to me, like, because you look at the Olympics, all these countries marching in, but Hawaiians, you don't get your country again.
Yeah, did you see that yesterday?
I saw them all walking, and some, my wife and we were talking. Well, I said, some have only like 5 people. But they're a nation, they're walking in, yet our people are being suppressed by the United States of the United States, who's supposed to be this human rights wonderful entity. And it's just, our country should be walking in Hawaii. Even if we had just one. And that's when my wife said, well, have we had any Olympians? I said, yeah, one of the first one was Tukanamoku.
Yeah, did you see, what was it? Was it Latvia or Slot? I forget which country, but the one that just recently got its sovereignty back after occupation.
Yeah, and hearing that and seeing that, and then turning to CNN and saying how the Donald Trump thing, and then about the illegal, the Americans now talking about the illegal occupation of an invasion of Ukraine, and it's like, you two-faced, fork-tongued liars pointing at Russia, and the point has been brought up before. You're pointing at Russia going into Ukraine and annexing that. That's what you did with Hawaii, and then it's not even similar, because at least those people in that area, they overwhelming votedly to go with Russia. In Hawaii, you had the people saying stay out, and you took them over anyway. So it's not even the same thing. Yet you're condemning the Russians, what the Americans did themselves in Hawaii. And we know
that. Well, actually, before that, they allowed it so the Hawaiians couldn't vote, or anybody who was a national couldn't vote. They took the vote away. And they also took the vote away from the anybody of Asian, Japanese, and Chinese community, prior to that, through the Vietnam Constitution, because they knew that the Asian community that were granted became nationals, and that the kingdom allowed them to become nationals so they can become their own, not slaves or not workers or plantation workers, but be able to own land and have property on their own. They gave them that right. They took that right with the Bayonet Constitution away, because they knew that once those who were responsible for bringing them over here to work the plantations was looking to get in charge, they knew that the ones in charge, the plantation owners and the missionary party, knew that the Asian community definitely want to vote for them to rule the government. So they had to take away their right to vote prior to their move, where they, arrested the Queen.
Right, and Blount said that in his report, that the majority of the populace here, which means the majority of the people here, Hawaiians and non-Hawaiians, did not support the overthrow. The only thing that supported the overthrow were the guns and rifles of the U.S. Marines. Otherwise, that overthrow would have been smashed. The police chief under Queen Liliuokalani was already waiting for orders to go after them and arrest them. But at the Queen, no matter what the Queen did, the U.S. Marines were going to come on. So she was between a rock and a hard place. She said that had he done that, she was thinking that would give them an excuse to come on. What she didn't realize, the Americans were going to use any excuse to come on. No matter whether it was just or unjust, they were coming on, and they were going to make up any story they wanted to come on. So whether she authorized her police chief to go and arrest these guys. Whether she didn't, it didn't matter. They were going to come on Hawaii regardless.
Well, what I think they did was look at the and said, well, Great Britain, being the great nation that it is, basically when its officers basically laid claims to the Kingdom of Hawaii, then Great Britain sent Admiral Thomas, to give it back. And I think Queen Liliuokalani was thinking that that America would have the same integrity that Britain had regarding that. And then later on she found out, well, the president did, President Cleveland did, but still there were proponents in the United States that weren't as, didn't have the ethics or the integrity. And you'll find that around where there are politicians who don't have ethics and integrity, and they make it, they control things.
Well,
that today
you look at even the people who are running for the state. Oh, integrity and truth and honesty. People, come on now. If you had truth and integrity, then you would have to stand up for Hawaiian rights in the nation of Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Other than that, then just shut up about this integrity and ethics and everything, because if you can't support that, then you're not supporting justice.
No.
So, and every time they talk about this integrity and I do what is right, then I'm going to see you at the sovereignty movement then, huh? Because that's the right thing to do. Not American or whatever. It just, is it the right thing to do? Yes, it is. Well, then if you deny that, then you can't talk about integrity and ethics then. With the American flag flying over there, because you imposed that on the people who didn't want that. And that's in record. They can't deny that. And with that, cuz we'll do the half-hour stuff. We'll get right back to you, okay?
Okay.
This is KKCR Honolulu, Kilauea, and we're going to do the surf report. But before we go into that, just want to let you know, some guy, I heard there might have been a landslide in the Honolulu side that was backing up the traffic. No confirmation. A gentleman just called, and what I want to relay was what Dean, the station manager, relayed to me, is that you can call this number, 241-1725, and it's like a condition of the road phone number, basically. And I'll have my cousin, or during the surf report, I'll try to see if I can get an update on that. Okay? So again, if you have any questions, I haven't gotten any update, but you can call 241-1725 on the update on what's happening with the Honolulu Road down there, if it's cleared up or what's going on. And I'll try to do the same right here. With that, let's check the Ocean Safety Report.
Aloha, I'm Pat Durkin with your KKCR Beach and Ocean Safety Tip for today. The safest places to swim are at beaches with lifeguards. On Kauai, we have 7 lifeguard stations. On the North Shore, they are located at Hai'ana Beach Park and the Hanalei Pavilion. On the east side, lifeguards are at Kealia Beach Park and Lidgate Park. South to west side locations are Poipu Beach Park, Salt Pond Park, and Keikaha Beach Park. These stations are staffed 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Always check in with lifeguards no matter where you plan to swim. Conditions can change rapidly. For more information about today's ocean conditions on Kauai, visit KauaiExplorer.com. With today's beach and ocean safety tip, I'm Pat Durkin for KKCR Radio. Have fun and be safe.
Okay, so right now you got high surf advisory for east-facing shores. That's from around Kilauea to Lihue. Choppy easterly wind swells affecting east, north, and south shores. So, again, from about Kilauea down to Lihue, you have a high surf advisory. So, be careful on the water. Even if you're going up into the mountains, you got to watch out. If it's raining, you can possibly flash flooding at times. So just got to be careful. Surf Heights about 2 to 5, Anna, Hanalei 1 to 3, 4 to 8 at Kalia and Lidgate. That's that west side that's pumping. Poipu and Salt Lake Kekaha all 1 to 4 to 1 to 3. I just checked that number 241-1725, and that number is the police department's traffic and weather update phone number, and this is what we got. Hanalei Bridge is closed. It is closed. They're advising everyone to avoid going into or out of Hanalei. The bridge is closed. According to the recording, there is a landslide that happened. And most likely it's on the side they were just fixing. So it's probably on the Mauka side going down to Hanalei. But again, no confirmation on that. Only that there's a landslide. The bridge, as of right now, is closed. I just called them, and it hasn't been updated yet. And that was at something like at 12:05, so fairly recent. But Hanalei Bridge is closed. Advised to everyone to avoid going down to Hanalei, okay, until further notice. And if you want to keep updated, the number again is 241-1725. That's the police department's weather and traffic roadway report number, okay? And again, Hanalei Bridge is closed until further notice. Landslide had happened on the roadway, so it is closed to in and out traffic. If you're down in Hanalei, you ain't going nowhere. If you want to go into Hanalei, go somewhere else. Okay? Okay. That's an update on traffic.
Those of you who, and if you're tuned in to KKCR, I was saying, because KKCR is basically one of the only stations that you can get reports from because of the proximity that we are on, and thanks to Butch Kekaha and members of the community to because they were trapped out in Hanalei.
Well, because it was funny. I was coming down here, and I thought it was just for a little while, so I got in traffic, and it was just stuck. I saw it was backed all the way up to the lookout there, right before the police station. So I sat, and it did dawn into me about minutes later that I could turn around and come the back way to get to KKCR. So lost some minutes there. So I did let Dean know, but that was the reason. And supposedly it's still there, and that was at almost 2 hours ago. So again, Hanalei Bridge is still closed. Avoid the area at all costs.
Yeah, a lot of, and sometimes our visitors who come to come here and to enjoy the islands, because of these closings and because of the proximity of where you're located, sometimes, it's happened where if an emergency such as this does occur, you're unable to make your flight out. So if that's the case, what you do is continue to call that number. What is that number, cousin, again?
It's 241-1725. That's the police department's weather and traffic road report number.
All right, and continue to call that number. And also, I would try and make arrangements in terms of your flights and call up your flights, and because there possibly will be a delay until they fix that. And so hopefully through the maybe the Department of Transportation also has a number that can be called, because there is a police number, but there's also a number from the Department of Transportation regarding road closures. So perhaps we can get that number and see what's happening in terms of the Department of Transportation's.
But because and going back to what we're saying, that's why Keo and others Hawaiians. And I do admit sometimes I get into these doldrums because we're getting just smashed on all fronts, and that's why it's nice to talk to intelligent Hawaiians who believe in sovereignty. It just recharges my batteries, and that there is hope. And like I said, you and Primrose, sometimes I get in that melancholy mode, and you have to, and my wife and you help me, and just look at the green leaves out there. Just take your mind off of it for at least for a little while. that there is still beauty in this world.
A beautiful green vine climbing up the tree. Okay, so it's poison oak or poison ivy. It's okay. It's pretty.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before too, it's like we were taught that our parents, and you hear it in many lives. It's you get knocked down, but until I can't get up, I'm going to still get up, and I'm still going to persevere, no matter what you try to do to me. And yeah, you might get me down sometimes, but temporary. So sometimes when I, the passion comes out because it is hurting and stuff. It's but anyway, let's go back to the phone call. Whenever we have a phone call, it's a priority. Hello, caller, you're on the air. You're on the air, caller. Do you want to go on air?
Is the Honolulu Bridge closed?
Yes, so we just gave the report. The Honolulu Bridge is closed both ways. There is a landslide, and that report was I just called them at 12:35, and it has been updated since, but I'll give you an update in about 20 minutes. But yes, it is closed both ways. They are advising to avoid the area, and if you want, we'll give out the number again. It's the police department's weather and traffic congestion control number. It's 241-1725, and they give the update. And I just called it about 5 minutes ago, and it is closed. No traffic in or out. Avoid the area.
How long has it been closed?
Well, I came here about almost 20 to 11 or quarter to 12, and it was already backed up. I got caught in traffic, so I almost didn't make it here at all. So I came the back road. So it's been there for a little while.
Thank you very much.
All right. So yeah, avoid going into Honolulu, and I'll do another report in about another 5 minutes to see how it's going. But as of 12:35, Honolulu Bridge is closed both ways. Landslide, closing the bridge or the roadway. So both ways, in and out. There's not even one lane. Just don't go to Honolulu. Do not go unless you want to sit in your air-conditioned car for a long time. Because there are a certain point that I was lucky. I was still by the look-on. I could turn around. Some parts you over there, you ain't going, you're not going to turn around. So
I'd like to hear from some of those people who are stuck in traffic. If you'd like to give us a call, 826-7771, 826-7771. Give us a call and let us know what's happening, how long you've been stuck in traffic, and share your manal. Get it off your chest, yeah? So give us a call.
Well, we do have a call. Let's see what's happening. Hello, caller. We're putting you on the air. Lunale Hawaiian Issues.
Honolulu's open yet?
Nope, it is closed. Honolulu Bridge is closed. No traffic in or out. Mahalo.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yep, the Honolulu Bridge is closed right now. So no traffic in or out. Landslide has happened over there, so avoid the area. Do not go down there.
And for those of you in Honolulu, who are trapped down there, just take it easy. Go to many of the beautiful local shops over there. Enjoy yourself. Have a long, luxurious lunch.
but no go in the brown water. Okay? No go in brown water.
Oh, definitely no go brown water. Oh,
I know. We saw some tourists the other day in the brown water. Hey, Lolo. Brown water equal dirty water. Hello. No going to
leptospirosis.
Yeah, no going to dirty water.
Dysentery. So again, if you'd like to call in and share your traffic report, if you're stuck in the traffic or waiting for the bridge to open, please give us a call at 826-7771. 826-7771. And this way, maybe you can just pull off, go Foodland if you're on that side, or go to one of the many restaurants that they have. Go to Princeville, maybe you can go to a hotel, enjoy yourself in Sturgeon, have lunch, or go Foodland, have lunch. Or if you're in Honolulu, there's many places you can go have lunch.
Or just stay home.
Which means that my mind is stuck on lunch.
Mine too, and that's why, because, I'll give the update on the road, but I was wondering if we can just, because music helps me calm down too, and lets the problems float away, if not just for a little while. So I just want to take the last 15 minutes, just play some Hawaiian music. How's that? Okay.
All right, but if people do call in with a updated traffic report,
definitely,
would you please,
yes.
Talk down the music and basically let them give the report. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, cuz aloha.
Sounds good to me, cuz.
Okay, aloha no.
Aloha.
Mr. Sancho Lee, got plenty lychee, got plenty lychee, but he no gives to me. And he's just a mean old Pokemon. Mr. Conrad Jones, get plenty swimming, plenty swimming pools, but he no gives to me. And he's just a mean old howling. Mr. Maximo Concepcion, got plenty fighting chicken, got plenty fighting chicken, but he no give to me. And he's just a mean old Pilafino man. Mr. Kazu Tanaka, get plenty camera supply, plenty electronic equipment, plenty camera supply, but he no gives to me. And he's just a mean old Kepani man. Miss Mommy, got plenty experience, got plenty experience. She no experience me, and she's just a mean old cocktail waitress. Mr. Kamaka Viva Ole, got plenty, not too much of nothing. Got plenty, nothing. He takes it out on me, and he's just a mean old Hawaiian man. One thing I will notice about this place, all our skies we tease the race. It's amazing we can live in the same place.
Makahiki nuana anano hika na ho aloha Epani na me na na wi punalu oi ai na kala maui hana hika me Maka umehana oko kupona bahine mino aka hana ka ia moe nui na makana iwe kalau Hiloha ke ia ia po mai ko mako hana haina ia mai na kapuana la ike au he makana no ke aku ko ana haina ia mai na kapuana la ike au he makana no ke aku ko
tell you of soft green seas, a mass of lace, flaming trees, and lazy days, fragrant nights of songs and the flowers, melting lights and dream-filled hours, smiles and glances, steel guitars, hula dancers, laughter stars, and then to hold your heart in mine, just mine, someone's left behind. And then to hold your heart in mine, just mine, someone's left behind.
ai kalima teve teve te oni nei teve teve tu pakanei teve teve o kunui teve teve te tomonei teve teve ina upena teve teve akaua teve teve o bunui teve teve akahelea e oe teve teve e he moa anei teve teve pa'aole ataua teve teve o bunui teve teve akahelea e oe teve teve e he moa anei teve teve pa'aole ataua teve teve teke teke teve 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 teke teke teve 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 teke teke teve teve teve
How can I talk to you? 'Cause I want to tell you that you're looking kinda good. And I want to know if we can get together tonight. I see you walking down the road, and I wonder if you have a special love. And if you don't, then can I be your man? Because I've been watching you from across the way, girl, that sexy body, girl, and I must say that you were driving me crazy. Because I've been watching you from across the way, girl, still moving that sexy body, girl, and I must say that you were driving me crazy. Hey, I'll go hello kele pona, ovai ko winoa. I'm a big lover. Ehele maika moi so I can put inside. Because I've been watching you from across the way, girl, still moving that sexy body, girl, and I must say that you were driving me foolish. Because I've been watching you from across the way, girl, still moving that sexy body, girl, see that you were driving me foolish. So tell me what time you want to leave, so we can eat dinner and watch a movie. And after that we'll just have to wait and see. Feeling inside, it feels so good I just can't deny. And I see it in your eyes that you feel the same way I do. Because I've been watching you from across the way, girl, still moving that sexy body, girl,